हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, Text 20. दुरापाहि अल्पतपसा सेवा वैकुण्ठवत्मसु यत्रोपगीयते नित्यं देवदेवो जनार्दनः। दुरापाहि अल्पतपसा सेवा वैकुण्ठवत्मसु यत्रोपगीयते नित्यं देवदेवो जनार्दनः। दुरापाहि अल्पतपसा सेवा वैकुण्ठवत्मसु यत्रोपगीयते नित्यं देवदेवो जनार्दनः। Mataji's. Anyone else? Word to word meaning, translation and purport. Durapa, rarely obtainable. He, certainly. Alpatapasaha, of one whose austerity is meager. Seva, service. Vaikuntha, the transcendental kingdom of God. Vatmasu, on the path of. Yatra, wherein. Upagiyate, is glorified. Nityam, always. Deva, of the demigods. Deva, the Lord. Janardanaha, the control of the living entities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees who are progressing on the path back to kingdom of Godhead, the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities. Purport. The path of liberation, as recommended by all authorities, is to serve the Mahatma Transcendentalist. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Mahatmas are the pure devotees who are on the path to Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God, and who always chant and hear the glories of the Lord rather than talk of dry, profitless philosophies. This system of association has been recommended since time immemorial. But in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, it is especially recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even if one has no assets of favorable austerity, if he nevertheless takes shelter of the Mahatmas who are engaged in the chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, he is sure to make progress on the path back home, back to Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayham Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yanta Pravishmam Vachimam Prasuptam Sanjivayati Akila Shakti Dharaswadhamna Anyam cha hasta charana shravanattvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Hare Krishna. So welcome each one of you for the today's morning Bhagavatam class. So today's we have this beautiful shloka. Durapa hi alpatapasaha seva vaikunthavatmasu yatropagiyate nityam deva deva janardana. So this shloka says that by serving the feet of persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service to the pure deities who are progressing on the path back to kingdom of God at the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the Devatas and the controller of all living entities. We are in the section where Vidura is asking questions to Maitreya Rishi. Vidura is asking questions to Maitreya Rishi. And what was the mood of Maitreya Rishi while answering these questions? So Maitreya Rishi, he felt that तथापि कीर्तयामि अंग यथा मति यथा श्रुतम कीर्तिम हरेर स्वाम सत्कर्तुम गिराम अन्याभिधा सतिम. So he was thinking that these questions and the topics about the Krishna are unlimited, and I may not be able to do justice to it. But his mood was that yatha mati yatha shrutam. Whatever my intelligence goes, as far as my intelligence goes, and whatever I have heard, that much I can repeat. Yatha mati yatha shrutam. Why should I do this? Because kirtim harervam satkartum giram anyabhida satim. Because if we don't engage our tongue in glorification, recitation of the Krishna's glories, then we were forced to engage in the other topics, right from the as you get up till you sleep, we'll be speaking something. Giram anyabhida asati is considered an unchaste. So, because the power of speech is meant to glorify Krishna, if it is engaged in the another's glorification or the other topics, it is considered unchaste. So to avoid unchastity on the part of my senses, he says, let me talk about and glorify Sri Krishna. And this is the perfection of our ability to speak. Ekanta labham vachsona punsam sushloka moler gunavadamahu shrutishcha vidvadbhir upakritayam katha sudayam upasamprayoga. Perfection of all senses. Of our tongue is to glorify Krishna, of ears is to hear about Krishna, eyes is to take darshan of Krishna, head is to offer obeisances to Krishna. So perfection of all senses is to engage them in the service somehow or other, enakena prakarena, in the Krishna's service. So therefore, one may be unqualified, but still one should keep on describing and glorifying Krishna as per as his abilities goes. Right? अथवा अस्य पदाम भोज मकरंद लिहाम सताम किमन्नेर असदाला पेर आयुषो यद असदवेह. The devotees are compared to the bumblebee who takes pleasure in the nectar, and that nectar is of Krishna's topics. So even if they are not composed nicely, even if they are not, they are presented with imperfections, still because they by nature are the bumblebee, they seek the essence and they take pleasure in it. And the crows-like mentality, crows-like people who look for the garbage, they don't find it interested, the Krishna Katha. So in this verse, Maitreya is saying, Durapa hi alpatapasa seva vaikunthavat masu. So, yatra giyate nityam deva deva janardanaha. So in the devotees, what their business is, always discussing about Krishna. Deva Deva Janardana. Nityam. Constantly. Right? So Mahatmanas tu maam partha daivim prakriti ashrita. Bhajante ananya mananso nyatma bhutadi mavyayam. Krishna defines Mahatma, or the great souls, as the one who is engaged in Krishna's hearing and chanting 24/7. So Mahajan, Mahatmas, great souls, are the one not by their so-called achievements or by any position or political acumen or any other material greatness, they are considered as a Mahatma. And neither certainly by the entitlement. So the Mahatmas are defined how they engage their time. If they engage in exclusively, the topic of their discussions is Krishna, so then one should understand they are the Mahatmas. They are the great souls. The greatness is not determined by their achievements, but their absorption in Krishna. So such Mahatmas, if anyone is interested in attaining Krishna or solving the permanent problems of this life, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, if one is interested to get rid of these miseries of this world, so scriptures are describing that one should take the path of liberation as recommended by all authorities is to serve the Mahatma transcendentalist. One has to take shelter of such Mahatmas. Find out such Mahatmas, go to him, inquire from him, and take his shelter. So, such association is required for liberation or getting out of the samsara. Now, this shloka mentions that it is durapa, very rare. It is very rare get to association of pure devotees. Why? First, the human body is rare. First, the human form is ready. Dehinam kshana bhangure, durlabha manuso deho, dehinam kshana bhangure, tatrapi durlabha manne, vaikuntha priya darshana. It is very rare to get the human form itself. 84 lakh species are there. Out of that, only some are cultured. Among the cultured societies, few only are following Varnashram Dharma or Vedic path. Among that, thousands of Vedic paths, only few are devotees. Right? So among the devotees, some are perfected Mahatmas. So therefore, it is very, very rare. Bhagavatam says that the Kotishwapi Mahamune, actually, Muktanapi Siddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudurlabha Prashantatma Kotishwapi Mahamune. In the kotis, crores of people, someone, a great soul, a Mahatma can be seen. Because it is very rare to attain that perfection, even to Devatas, even to sages. Devanam, Shuddha Sattvanam, Rishinam, Chamalatmanam, Bhaktir Mukunda Charane, Na Prayeno Pajayate. One can become the Devatas by lot of pious activities. Right? By good intelligence, by deep scriptural studies, one can attain the position of Rishis. But it is very rare, Bhakti Mukunda Charane, to get the devotion. That attachment to Lord Krishna's lotus feet is very, very rare. Even the Devatas and the Rishis can't attain that. Na prayena upajayate. Prayena means almost. It is not seen. Right? Those who are in the mode of goodness, and they also, it is rarely seen that they have surrendered and they have attained the Mahatma stage. So therefore, it is very rare to get the association of devotees. Durapa. Vaikunta sadhakau pantha yat satsu gopyo hi vartate tasya upadeshta purusha prayo bhagyena labhyate. So therefore, a person who gives instructs about this path of devotion to Krishna is very, very rare and very confidential, gopyo, because this path is only gopyo. Veda guhyam means even Vedas also, it is not obvious that they are talking about the bhakti. When Brahmaji, he himself is the speaker of Vedas, he wanted to understand what the Vedas mean. So first he studied the Vedas. Then he thought that the message of Vedas is karma. Then again he studies Vedas. Then he thought that the message of Vedas is not karma, it is jnana. He again studies Vedas. Then he understood that the message of Vedas is not even jnana, it is about the bhakti. It is about the bhakti. So therefore it is a Veda Guhya, it is the most confidential path. Vaikuntha, the path that leads to Vaikuntha, or the spiritual world, that is the most confidential. Tasya upadeshta purusha prayo bhagyena labhyate. So therefore, a person who instructs us about this path, how can we practice and how can we progress on this path, is very, very rare. Bhagyena labhyate. Just by some good fortune only, one can attain this. And as good fortune arises, when the Krishna is pleased, it's a Paramatma in the heart when he sees our sincerity to come to him, to attain to him. When our sincere desire is there, the Paramatma notices and the Paramatma arranges that we come across such a pure devotee who can guide us back home, back to God here. Parikshit Maharaj, when he was cursed and he decided to renounce everything and sat on the bank of the Ganges. So that time, immediately Krishna arranged for the Shukadeva Goswami to come there. Because it was practically impossible for Shukadeva Goswami to come there, because Shukadeva Goswami is constant wandering saint. He has no address. Nobody knows where he is. Nobody can go plan and go and meet him also, because nobody knows where he is. But when Parikshit Maharaj sat there, then the Shukadeva Goswami on his own accord appeared there. And immediately Parikshit Maharaj understood that this is the great mercy of Sri Krishna on him. Apime Bhagavan Pritak Krishna Pandu Sutta Priya Paitrat Sevaya Prityartham Tad Gotra Syatta Bandhava. Parikshit Maharaj said, certainly Krishna is very much pleased. Therefore only he has sent me this association of Shukadeva Goswami. But why he is pleased? Not by my service. He is pleased because of the service of Pandavas. Pandavas were very dear to Krishna. And I happen to be their grandson. So therefore, to show mercy to Pandavas, Krishna has graced me by the association of Shukadeva Goswami. Anyathate avyaktagate darshanam na katham nanam nitaram mriyamananam samsiddhasya vaniyasa. Otherwise it was not possible. Avyaktagate, one whose movements are untraceable. Such Shukadeva Goswami. How can one expect his association? And this association, which comes by the grace of Krishna, or the causeless mercy of pure devotees themselves, that is what actually the cherished desire of the devotees. Shivji says, Athangre tava kirti tirtayor antar bahirisnana vidhuta papmana bhutesh anukrosha susatva shilinam syat sangamo anugraha eshanastava. Shivji says that how can one understand that the Krishna has favored us or showed anugraha? He says, Bhuteshu anukrosha susatva shilinam syat sangamo. If we get the association of the pure devotees of Krishna, whose hearts are completely purified, antar bahir snana vidhuta papmanam, they are freed from all the sinful activities. If we get that association, then we consider that we are actually favored that. That is your real benediction. That is your real benediction. Bhavapa vargo brahmato yada bhavet janasya tarhi achyuta sat samagamo sat sangamo yarhi tadeva sadgato paravareshu tvai jayate mati. As soon as one he is freed from the enjoying mentality of this world, and one understands the temporary nature of this world, and one who inquires, how can I stop this repeated birth and death? Bhavapa vargo brahmato yata bhavet. At that moment, tadasya tari achyuta sat samagama. At that moment only pure devotee comes in our life. Tadasya tari achyuta sat samagama. Actually, it is not that Apavarga is stopped, Bhavavarga is stopped. Just he desired to come out of this material world, desired to come out of this miserable situation, immediately spiritual master or the pure devotee comes in our life, and then actually one is delivered. But this happens so swift that it is mentioned that actually the destruction happens of this samsara, and then the pure devotee comes into our life. Tadaiva sadgato paravareshu tvai jayate mati. And as soon as spiritual pure devotee, spiritual master comes in our life, sadgato, our destination is assured. And one develops paravareshu jayate mati. One can develop the fixed consciousness, vyavasayatmika buddhi, to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So once we get the association of pure devotees, Mahajanas, Mahatmas, though it is durapa, very rare, but alpa tapasa, those who have meager austerities, those who are not have a heap of pious credits, they don't appreciate it. They are not able to hold it. Right? Just like the mercy is coming from the spiritual master or pure devotees, Krishna is giving the anugraha and sending them in our life. But in order to appreciate it and in order to hold it, we also need a proper qualified container. Right? So we also have to be qualified. Alpatapasaha, those who do not have the sukruti, those who have not done the pious credits, pious activities, they don't able to appreciate. Tesham tundagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moho nirmukta bhajante mam dhadavrata. Bhagavad Gita says, Tesham tu andagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam. So those who are freed from the sinful activities, antagatam papam jananam, such people, punyakarmanam, those who are engaged in the pious activities, they develop the firm attachment to serving Krishna. Bhajate mam dadavrata. So it is not about the normal piety. This only shlokas talk about Tesham tu andagatam papam jananam. The devotees who are freed from all the sinful activities, punya karmanam. Anyone who renders service to them directly, indirectly, knowingly, unknowingly, by that punyas, when he develops a fixed attachment for the Lord Krishna's service. Right? So therefore, alpatapsam, kim swalpatapasam nanam, archayam deva chakshusham, darshanas sparshanas prashna, pravaha padachanadikam. So Krishna is saying that the alpatapasam, those who are not performed these kinds of pious activities of serving to the pure devotees directly, indirectly, knowingly, unknowingly, right? So they don't develop this attachments towards Krishna, or they do not develop the appreciation for the association of pure devotees. In the case of Narad Muni, when he was as a Dasi Putra, right? So these Bhakti Vedantists came there and stayed for the Chaturmasa 4 months, and they were doing their hearing and chanting. So they were doing hearing and chanting, it was open for all, but it was Narad Muni, a small boy, he took the advantage of it. And he says, they blessed me. Generally they are equal-minded. They are open to all. They are ready to give to mercy to everyone. But still, they were more compassionate to Narad Muni because he was receptive. Te mayyapeta khilachapale bhake dante dhrita kridake nuvartini chakru kripam yadyapi tulya darshana shushrushamane manuyo alpabhashini. So these sages were thoughtful. They don't speak much. They were absorbed in their hearing and chanting. Right? So, but they showed special mercy to Narad Muni when he was a Dasiputra because he had these qualities. Dante, he was sense-controlled. Dhrita Kridanake, though he was a boy 5 years, but he was not attached to playing games. Anuvartini, and he was ready to follow their instructions. Sushrushamane Manuyolpa Bhashani, and he was engaged in their service. So by seeing their qualities, in this purport, beautiful statement by Srila Prabhupada. Without being self-controlled, without being disciplined, and without being fully obedient, no one can become successful in following the instructions of the spiritual master. And without doing so, no one is able to go back to Godhead. So being self-controlled, being disciplined, and fully obedient to the spiritual master is the prerequisite for the success. So this is what called as alpa tapasa. That tapasya, this tapasya of self-restraint, selfless service to spiritual master, and the obedience. If we go through that tapasya, then only we'll be able to actually follow the instructions of spiritual master. And the Krishna himself has showed by his personal example. He served Sandipani Muni when he was in the Gurukul, personally going to the forest to collect the woods, doing all the menial services. And the Sandipani Muni was very much pleased by that service. And then he blessed Krishna and Sudama. Right? Etad evahi sachishye kartavyam guru nishkritam yadvai vishuddha bhavena sarvarthatmarpanam guru. So by pure heart one should offer everything to spiritual master. And in this way one should serve. That is what Sandipani Muni says. As a result, what happens? As the Guru is pleased, Satya Santu Manoratha Chandamsi Yata Yamani Bhavanti Iha Paratracha. So he gives the blessing that all our desires will be fulfilled and Chandamsi Ayata Yamani. Whatever we have heard from the spiritual master, that remains fresh. Yata Yamani. Yata Yama means stale. Yama means 3 hours. Just like food becomes stale after few times. Similarly, this knowledge also will become stale, or in the sense it will be lost if if we are not received the blessings of spiritual master, and that blessings come by service. So when we hear and serve the spiritual master, the service converts that knowledge, what we have heard, into realization and the our transformation. Right? Seva Vaikuntha Vatmasu. So that devotees who are called as the Vaikuntha Vatmasu, those who are on the path back to Godhead. So here it is not even mentioned pure devotees. Vaikuntha Vatmasu means anyone, even a sadhaka who is practicing devotional service, he is on the path back to Godhead. And service to that sadhaka is also rare. What to speak of the pure devotees and the spiritual master. Right? So, Seva Vaikuntha Vatmasu. So, such service and such association is not compared even to the heavenly planets or any of the benedictions offered in this life. Sadhunam samachittanam sutaram mat kritatmanam darshanam no bhaved banda pumso krish akshno savituryataha. Just by their darshan, when one is freed from the bondage, one can be freed from the bondage just by their darshan, right? So, not even a darshan, just by their remembrance. Esham sansmaranat pumsa sadhya shuddhanti vaigraha kim punal darshana sparsha pada shaucha sanadibi. Just by their sansmaranat pumsa, just by remembrance. Ganga can purify by touching the water, but the devotees can purify just by their remembrance. Then what to speak of if we get the opportunity to interact with them, opportunity to hear from them, and opportunity to serve them. So how much benefit one can expect from that? Huh? So just by the association or hearing from spiritual master, one can overcome all his limitations. Sud Goswami was Viloma Jata. He was not a Brahmana. The speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam was not Brahmana. Right? So Sud Goswami was not Brahmana. He was Viloma Jata. But he heard from Shukadeva Goswami. So therefore, he says that by this association, Aho Vayam Janma Bhritodyasma Vridhanu Vritya Viloma Jata Doshkolya Adim Vidunoti Shigram Mahattamana Abhidhana Yoga. So by association with great souls, all our limitations one can overcome and one get the qualifications to progress on this path. So that association gives rise, this previous verse only talks about it. What is the effect of serving the spiritual master? Right? Yet, he says that the Yat Sevaya Bhagavata Kutastasya Madhudvishaha Ratiraso Bhavet Tivra Padayor Vyasanardanaha. Ratiraso Bhavet Tivra. So one develops the great attachments to Madhudvishaha, the Krishna who is the killer of demon Madhu, or the one who destroys the obstacles on the path of sadhaka. Generally one thinks that we want to have direct connection with Krishna. What is the need of any middleman? What is the need of a spiritual master? What is the need of Guru? Guru is not an obstruction between Krishna and us. Actually, Guru is a transparent via media. Actually, serving to Guru helps us to develop greater attachment to Krishna. यहाँ पे word is used tivura. Ratiraso bhavet tivura. Padayor vyasanardanaha. By serving to Guru, one developed attachment to Krishna. Means it is not like that by Krishna, Guru is coming in between Krishna and us. Actually, the more we serve the Guru, we develop attachment to Krishna. Tivura, ratiraso bhavet tivura. Actually, that attachment is intense at the stage of bhava. Sarve vedasya yajnasya tapo danani chanaga jiva abhaya pradanasya na kurvin kalam api. So, this abhaya pradan, which is given by the spiritual master, what is that abhaya? Abhaya is that one is assured to come out of this repeated birth and death. That is the abhay one can receive by serving the spiritual master. And the sadhaka is actually troubled by the anarthas because of the rajogun and tamogun. And by Sattva Gun, by practice, coming early, getting up early morning, chanting the holy name, he tries to develop the Sattva Gun and overcome the Rajas and Tamas. But Bhagavatam says that all the anarthas can be overcome by completely dedicating to the service of Guru. Rajas tamascha satvena sattvam chopasamena cha etat sarvam guror bhaktya purusho hi anjasa jayet. Anjasa means easily. Sankalpa jayet kama. If you want to control lust, by determination we can do, but there is a struggle. It is not an easy path. But by serving the spiritual master, anjasa, it is very easy. Easily we can overcome. And so though there are qualifications for the appreciating the spiritual master's mercy or the pure devotees, right? But what is that qualification? Just receptiveness. Receptiveness. If he is receptive, then all other material disqualifications does not make any difference. Teva vidanti ati taranti cha deva mayam stri shudra huna shabara api papa jiva yadi adbhuta krama parayana shila shiksha. If adbhuta krama means Lord, parayana, one who is dedicated to the Lord, shila, his character, shiksha. If anyone tries to learn the character and conduct of a devotee by surrendering to the one who has already surrendered to Krishna, then he can attain perfection. Tiriyak jana api. What to speak of humans, even the animals, if they start to follow and hear the devotees, they also can attain perfection. By eating prasadam, by hearing kirtan, by being around the devotees. Kimuta Shuddha Dharanaya. Then what to speak of human beings? Shuddha Dharana, who can hear, understand and hold on the knowledge. Alright. So, just darshan is purifying, the remembrance is purifying, then what to speak of, we get the opportunity to serve the pure devotees and particularly spiritual master. How much great fortune it is. Right? How much great fortune it is. So therefore, once get the opportunity to serve, one should be determined and one should serve them with all his energies, all his efforts. Vishrambhena atmana shochena gauravena damena cha Shushushya Suradena Vacha Madhuriya Chabho. Then how to one serve the spiritual master? Vishrambhena by attachment, Shauchena by purity, Gauravena by with respect, Damena by sense control, Shushushya by menial service, Sauradena by affectionate, by always being favorable to the spiritual master. Vacha Madhuriya Chabho, and always having a sweet speech. So this is the way one should always serve the spiritual master, and one should have the Hari Bhavena. Just like a husband should, wife should consider the husband should be his Lord. So similarly, disciple should consider the spiritual master is non-different from the Lord. Ya patim Hari Bhavena bhajed stri iva tatpara Hari Atmana Hare Loke patya shrir iva modate. Just like a wife serving the husband, considering them to be representative of Krishna, attains the spiritual world. Similarly, disciple by serving the spiritual master, considering him to be the representative of Krishna, attains the Vaikuntha. Hari Bhavena, that is called as Hari Bhava. Hari Bhava means Hari Iha Asti. Here is the Lord Hari. That should be the mode while serving the spiritual master. Direct Krishna is beside. That should be our mood. So one can serve the spiritual master if one is grateful for the favor he has rendered on us by giving the seed of Krishna consciousness. If that gratitude is there, right now in the here Vidura is very grateful to Maitreya for his removing these doubts, removing his doubt. Right? Krishna says that the one who gives birth, he is also our Guru, but one who gives initiates us and instructs on the processes, he is better. But one who gives us the knowledge of our eternal relationship with Krishna, he is as if non-different from me. As if non-different from me. So one cannot never ever repay the gratitudes. But as soon as we experience the gratitude, grateful for the spiritual master, then naturally we have the attitude of service to spiritual master. An example is Prahlad Maharaj. Right? when the Narsingadev, Mahavatar Narsimha was there before. And then the Prahlad Maharaj prayed that he said, please give me the association of and the service to Narad Muni. Because by his association and instruction, I am able to see you. So I am able to see you because the association and instruction of Narad Muni. So similarly, Dhruva Maharaj also said that give me association of devotees when the Krishna was there, personally present there. So we can see that the gratitude acts like that fuel, that the inspiration on which one can continue rendering service to spiritual master. So it is not by force, it is not by some any other motive, exclusive, because it's not that always spiritual master has to do something to keep us engaged and even just connection, the way he has connected us to Parampara and the Krishna, that act itself has indebted us for lifetimes that we need to repay try to repay by serving him and spreading his message and assisting him in his missions. Thank you for your patient listening. If any questions are there, we can take. Anyone has any questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Arvind Madhav Prabhu, for such a wonderful presentation of this particular shloka. And also you told that how human form of life itself is rare, and in that to receive association of pure devotee is very, very rare. And you so beautifully told that the mercy may come, but to hold that mercy, it requires the tapasya. So, Prabhu, in our day-to-day Krishna conscious life, you very nicely also told that sama, dhamma, the qualities which were seen from Narad Muni, those are certain things which can be certain pointers for us to hold the mercy in order to get the mercy and also hold the mercy. So, Prabhu, we also see that in contemporary world, there are so many tapasyas, which different kind of fasting, different kind of so many rituals people do undergo. So all those things will help a person to get bhakti. All those are the necessary qualifications to get bhakti, or is bhakti independent of that? Bhakti is something which is not dependent on someone's austerity.
Yeah. So, आराधितो यदि हरि तपसा तथा किम, नाराधितो यदि हरि तपसा तथा किम. Narad Muni only says that if one is worshipping Lord Hari, there is no need of extra tapasya. And if he is not worshipping the Hari, then what is the use of the tapasya? So, Rahu Gono etat na tapasa na yati. So Bharat Maharaj there, Jad Bharat says, Rahu Ganetat Tapasana Yati. Just by tapasya you cannot attain this attachment to Krishna. Na chandasa. Just by studies you don't can attain. Not by performing different yajnas or some pious activities, by charity. All these activities does not lead to bhakti or association of pure devotees. But same activities can lead to devotional service also. How? By you do tapasya, fasting, but happen to be Ekadashi. Right? Yeah, generally that is the case. People have a habit of doing a fasting on Monday, somehow Friday, somehow on Sunday, Saturday. Right? Some do for their health, but that day can be Ekadashi and he get the Sukriti. Or they also do Ekadashi because that is also one of the fasting day. People have a habit of giving charities, right? They want to do good to others. They want to give charity. right? But now Janmashtami is coming. So they generally give charity everywhere. They give on Janmashtami also to Krishna. They give charity to devotees also. And that charity leads to their association of devotees and they get the bhakti. Right? So they want to perform various yagyas and sacrifices. Right? Now, so they happen to perform the yajnas in which the Lord's holy name is glorified. Or they happen to perform Bhagavad Gita, Gita Dan yajna like this. Right? So by that they get a sukriti and they come to एतावान एव यजताम इह निश्रेय यशोदय भगवती अचलो भावो यद भागवत संगत एतावान एव यजताम like this worshipping various devatas, performing various austerities, performing various yajnas, going to holy places. एतावान एव यजताम इह निश्रेय यशोदय. One attains that निश्रेय यशोदय means the topmost good fortune arises. Yad Bhagavata Sangata, Bhagavati Achalo Bhavo, Yad Bhagavata Sangata. Because of this, he happens to come across the somehow or other, directly, indirectly, in the association of devotees, get the Sukriti, then he gets the association of pure devotee. Yad Bhagavata Sangata, Bhagavati Achalo Bhavo. Then he develops that fixed and determined attachment to Krishna. Right? So yes, that is good. That may not directly lead, but that gives him opportunity to come across the devotees and the service to Krishna, and then he comes to Krishna. Thank you. Any other question? Okay. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Om Brahmadevaaya Namaha. Don't nisandehi